The ocean, vast and treacherous, has concealed many mysteries and tales of horror within its depths. Its uncharted territories have spurred stories and legends that can turn the bravest adventurer pale. Today, we will venture into these chilling narratives that span from the surface's deceptive calm to the unfathomable darkness of the sea floor. Prepare yourself as we immerse in these 5 real-life horror stories about the ocean, a tribute to the overwhelming awe and fear brought by the mysteries of the deep. Number 1. Submerged Screams of the Sunken City. The sunken city had been a thriving metropolis before tragedy struck. An earthquake had ripped the seams of the earth beneath it, swallowing buildings and lives before the sea took the rest. Now all that remained was a shell, a mere echo of a once bustling city swallowed by the icy depths of the ocean. The eerie silence of the deep was broken only by the unseen monsters of the underwater, their low roars resounding through the crumbling buildings. The shattered remains and impressions of past lives were home to grotesque creatures, their eyes reflecting the sparse light filtering through the water's surface. There were tales spun about the sunken city, creepy folklore that circulated through the seaside towns, shared over the dwindling glow of campfires. The echo of phantom bell towers rang out from the depths, drowned out only by the piteous cries and wails of the doomed souls trapped in the undersea purgatory. The hobby divers who frequented the area spoke of the eerie sensation of being watched, of screams and faint sobs carried by the currents that seemed to come from the city's depths. A group of divers, intrigued by the tales, decided to explore the city. Equipped with the latest underwater gear, they descended into the aquatic wilderness. The chilling water seemed to clutch at them, pulling them deeper into the heart of the sunken city. They witnessed the skeletons of skyscrapers, the remnants of lives lost, and the bleak ghost city in silence. Then they heard it. Faint at first, growing louder with each passing second. The sound echoed through the water, making their blood run cold. Fear gripped them as the hair-raising screams of anguish only grew louder, reverberating through the abandoned buildings and deserted streets. Panic erupted in their ranks, each desperate to escape the nightmarish reality that welcomed them in the sunken city. One by one they began to disappear. Snatched away by unseen hands, their agonized screams joined the cacophony of the drowned city. In their frantic efforts to escape, they lost their way, trapped in the labyrinth of horrors this city had become. The last diver, driven mad by fear and the alarming silence after the screams subsided, felt a presence behind him. He turned and came face to face with a ghastly apparition. A grotesque phantom with hollow eyes and a sorrowful, soundless scream. As the unseen hand closed around him, he understood the gruesome truth. The screams weren't just echoes, they were beggings, pleading for release from the city's drowned souls. His terrified scream joined the chorus of the submerged city, his struggle for life becoming just another layer to the symphony of dread, becoming a part of the sunken city's eerie lullaby. The ocean hid many horrors, and the sunken city was one, claiming all who dared stray into its terrifying territory. Number 2. Whispers from the Abyssal Plain. In the heart of the vast oceans, tucked away from our comforting sun, lies a world cloaked in cold, unending darkness. This is the Abyssal Plain, and from its inky depths, chilling whispers spread like a gruesome rumor sailing the undercurrents. Stories lost mariners dare to only heed in hushed tones. One such tale chronicled the fate of the Serpent's Accord, a maritime vessel known for trudging through the harshest tempests. The ship and her hardy crew fearlessly traversed the merciless seas until one unfortunate voyage plunged them into the jaws of the Abyssal Plain. On a still, serene night, the crew heard a dulcet song drifting from somewhere deep below, a soft voice like an enchanting siren calling from the abysmal dark. The men found an eerie comfort in the music that echoed from the unseen depths, coiling around their minds. They heedlessly followed the sound, their hearts drumming audibly against the silence of the night. The ship drifted farther and farther into the vast blackness, descending slowly into a world untouched by both mankind and the comforting warmth of the sun. All that was left was the siren song, whispering from the abyssal plain, drawing them deeper. They descended so far that the water hung heavy around them, and still they heard the whisper. Prompted by the tantalizing song, a small party abandoned the relative safety of their submersible, stepping into the crushing black ocean. There, in the suffocating depths, they discovered the true nightmare of the abyssal plain, a place of monstrous aberrations under the sway of an omnipresent whispering entity, which filled their minds with untold horrors. It wasn't the cryptic song they had heard, but the hypnotic whispers of an unseen terror. Manuscripts recovered showed their desperate scrawl, detailing hallucinations of drowned spirits and monstrous apparitions. When the submersible finally resurfaced, all that remained on board were gut-wrenching scrawls of terror and the echoed whisper of the abyssal plain. It was as if the ocean herself had devoured the souls of the once stout mariners, leaving behind only empty husks in crushing silence. The abyss had claimed them. Now their whispers joined the hidden chorus of the abyssal plain, another haunting tale in the watery black void. It is the whispers from the abyssal plain's haunting lullaby that remind us of our inconsequential existence against nature's terrifying mightiness. Against the echo of the abyssal whisper, even our screams of terror are drowned out, forever lost to the sunken depths of the ocean. The abyss, after all, is unyielding and brutally indifferent to human despair. Number 3, the Kraken's Unseen Feast. The tale of the Kraken's Unseen Feast is one gruesome story to haunt those who venture on the ocean's vast expanse. As the tale goes, in a small coastal village, deep-sea fishermen would whisper hushed stories of a monstrous creature beneath the sea's surface, one that could swallow whole ships and their crews in a single terrifying gulp. Once, a typically brave and bold fisherman named Einar decided to face this beast. Einar, known for his strength and bravely wrestling with the deadly creatures of the fathomless deep, was not one to shy away from legends or monsters. Equipped with a weather-beaten ship and a crew of hardy sailors, he embarked on a daring expedition to conquer the beast of the abyss. In the dead, silent night, beneath the pale lunar glow and the stars' unblinking gaze, Einar's ship drifted steadily into the gaping maw of the open sea. The eerie calm was shattered when, without warning, the sea started to churn violently. From the murk below, an enormous silhouette emerged, writhing like a crimson serpent beneath the darkened tide. The men watched, frozen, as the moonlight reflected off a nightmarish expanse of writhing tentacles, enough to envelop their vessel. Einar, driven by grit and terror, steered his ship directly towards the monstrous shape, as the tempest around them quaked with an unearthly resonance. The silhouette, illuminated by flashes of furious lightning, revealed its colossal form, a beast of nightmares that towered menacingly above their doomed vessel. Its monstrous maw opened wide, revealing rows of jagged, glinting teeth hungrily looming above them all. The crewmen screamed and prayed, ready to be swallowed by the dread that surrounded them. But in an unexpected turn of events, the creature retreated, slithering back into the abyss, leaving behind nothing but dread and confusion. Shaken but alive, they returned home, bearing tales of their monstrous encounter. But that wasn't the terrifying end they had expected. Einar and his crew were celebrated as heroes, championed as the men who faced the Kraken and came back to tell the tale. The village suddenly experienced an inexplicable surge in abundant seafood, overflowing baskets, nets, and joy in the hearts of the villagers. Little did they know, they were feasting on the remnants of the Kraken's unseen meal. However, days after the feast had begun, the villagers, one after another, began to awaken to horrifying sights. Their once bustling village was slowly decimated as each person woke up to find half-eaten pieces of their family members strewn about their homes, the remains bearing sickeningly familiar traces indicating a sea creature's attack. Einar and his crew came to understand the gruesome truth. They hadn't escaped the wrath of the monster. Instead, they had been the harbingers of a silent, invisible death to their village. The Kraken wasn't just a monster lurking in the depth. It was, in fact, a spectral entity feeding off the lives of the people who unknowingly consumed its prey. Einar's brave expedition had only awakened this devouring demon, filling its murderous hunger with their unsuspecting village. And, unfortunately for them, the unseen feast of the dreaded Kraken was far from over. Number 4. Bloody Pearls of the Siren's Lullaby. In the fathomless depths where sunlight never penetrates, a haunting melody serenaded the tumultuous waters. This ethereal tune was not one familiar to human ears. It slithered through the creaking hulls of sunken ships and echoed chillingly in the waning expanse. They were the lullabies of the Sirens, known merely as folklore on the surface, but chillingly real in the Stygian abyss. These spectral creatures weaved their song into the darkest corners of the ocean, luring any who dared to trespass into their macabre domain. One such trespasser was the crew of a commercial fishing vessel. The motley crew of hardened fishermen prided themselves on their fearless pursuit of the ocean's bounties, oblivious of the enduring lore. Their pursuit of elusive, profitable hauls had led them into uncharted waters one fateful night. The eerie, silent seas unnerved even the most hardened among them, as a haunting melody scraped over the radio. The captain scrambled to switch off the static-filled device, but the music imbued the silent vessel. Silence filled the air as each man felt the lullaby's hypnotic embrace. Their eyes glazed over, bodies swaying rhythmically to the heart-stopping hum. One by one, like enchanted marionettes, they stepped over the edge of the ship's railings. The water swallowed the fishermen whole, their despairing cries extinguished by the relentless waters. Only one man remained aboard, witnessing the horror unfolding. The cook, an old man deaf since birth, watched in terror as the last of his comrades disappeared into the inky blackness. A scream choking his throat, he staggered towards the radio, only to slip on a shiny object. The ship's intercom was encrusted with pearls. Not ordinary pearls, but glistening blood-red ones. The product of the Siren's lullaby was laid grotesquely before him. Consumed with terror, the old cook fled towards the lifeboat, slipping the horrific pearls in his pocket. Determined to survive, he launched himself into the incessant ocean waves, leaving behind the doomed vessel and its ghostly melody. Upon rescue, the blood-red pearls were gone, replaced by bland, regular ones. No one believed his tale of the Siren's lullaby. Mocked and dismissed, the old cook was left to sob alone. However, every full moon, a chilling melody tickled his senses, despite his lack of hearing. At the bottom of the abyss, the Sirens continued to sing, their symphony of death forever imprinted in his soul, the bloody pearls of the Siren's lullaby in his possession, a token of their fiendish feast. Number 5. From Deep Below, The Eyes That Never Sleep. In the untouched depths of the Pacific, beneath unmapped icy surfaces, there exists a natural phenomenon dreaded by the most seasoned of sailors. Pitch-black waters that conceal an unspeakable horror, the eyes that never sleep. In 1976, the USS Thresher, an advanced submarine, was deployed with a crew of 129 brave men by the U.S. Navy. Their mission was a secret exploration of the icy waters around the Mariana Trench. As they descended, they fell into an eerie silence. There was no communication from the surface, no sunlight, just the hum of the machine and their breathing. Globules of light flickered outside the windows, illuminating strange creatures that defied classification. But amongst this alien panorama, something unsettled the crew. A pair of gleaming eyes like two half-submerged moons rising from the abyss peered into the Thresher. Massive, unblinking, they were eyes that conveyed an inexplicable hatred. The crew reported this terrifying encounter back to the command center, their voices cracking in the transmission. Life on the Thresher turned hellish. The vessel began to experience technical glitches, systems malfunctioned, power flickered. The skin-crawling dread of those horrifying eyes consumed the crew, the once cheerful men turning ghostly pale and jittery. Some claimed to hear blood-curdling screams from outside the vessel, a chorus of agony emanating from the heart of the depths. Mysteriously, the Thresher's communication with the surface was abruptly cut mid-transmission. Frantic attempts by the command center to re-establish contact proved futile. The submarine, along with its crew, vanished into the abyss without a trace. An extensive search operation saw no signs of debris, no signs of the men aboard, just the vast, unfathomable beauty and perhaps a pair of ceaselessly vigilant eyes. Years later, fishermen in the Pacific would sometimes speak in hushed tones of a grotesque spectacle, an eerie luminescence ascending from the abyss, accompanied by an ungodly roar. The horrified witnesses described it as two glaring orbs rising from untold depths. The terrifying truth behind the story of the Thresher's tragic end is an enigma to this day. Beneath the placid surface of the ocean, shrouded in darkness, lies an unspeakable horror, an eternal sentinel that lurks in the crushing depths, waiting and watching. Its gleaming eyes betray its malevolent purpose. In the bone-chilling waters of the Pacific, where the darkness isn't simply just an absence of light, there exists the eyes that never sleep. We've traversed the ocean's mystifying depths together, journeying through sunken cities and unseen beasts. If you have relished this underwater odyssey into terror and the unknown as much as we did, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like. How these tales will haunt your dreams is up to you. So, thank you for watching, and until our paths cross again through the eerie tales of the night, sleep tight.